There comes a time in life when you wake up one morning and realize you've been running in circles. You've been moving, but not progressing. You've been busy, but not productive. You've been giving your energy to everything and everyone except the very thing that could transform your life. I remember sitting alone one night after another long day of doing too much and feeling like I had accomplished nothing. The phone was buzzing. The television was talking. The world was loud. And inside me, there was this quiet ache, a voice that kept whispering, "You're meant for more than this." That night, I turned off the lights. I sat in silence. And for the first time in a long time, I listened to myself. What I heard changed everything. Because, my friend, focus is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters. You can have the talent. You can have the dream. You can have the opportunity. But if you don't have the discipline to focus, you'll scatter your power into 1,000 directions and wonder why you're standing still. The truth is, focus is painful. It demands sacrifice. It forces you to let go of things that once felt important. It asks you to choose your future over your feelings. And that's hard. Because we live in a world that celebrates distraction. A world that tells you to chase every trend, every opinion, every flicker of attention. But let me tell you something, a distracted mind can never build a destiny. There's a story I love about a young archer who wanted to become the best in the world. Every day, he practiced shooting at multiple targets at once. His arrows flew everywhere, some close, some far, but never in the center. One day, his mentor said, "You'll never hit your mark until you learn to see only one." And that's when it hit him. And that's when it hit me. You can't master your life until you master your focus. Every person you admire, every great achiever you've ever read about, they all learned one simple, powerful truth. You can't do everything, but you can do one thing with excellence. And that one thing can change everything. I've met people who gave up on their dreams, not because they lacked potential, but because they lacked focus. They started strong, but got distracted by comfort. They began with vision, but lost themselves in comparison. They listened to too many voices and forgot the sound of their own. But here's the good news. No matter how far you've drifted, you can start again. You can reclaim your attention. You can retrain your mind. You can rebuild your discipline. Focus is a muscle. And the more you use it, the stronger it becomes. It's the invisible power that turns ordinary days into extraordinary destinies. It's the bridge between dreams and reality. So, if you feel lost right now, scattered, uncertain, I want you to know something. You're not broken. You're just unfocused. And once you find your focus, once you develop the discipline to protect it, everything in your life begins to shift. There's a quiet strength that comes from knowing exactly what you're working toward. A peace that comes from no longer being pulled in 100 directions. When you find that clarity, you begin to walk differently. You speak differently. You live differently. Because when a person learns to focus, the impossible begins to move. This is not just about success. It's about self-respect. It's about living intentionally. It's about saying, I refuse to live my life halfway awake. The discipline of focus is about waking up each day and asking yourself, what truly deserves my energy today? And having the strength to act on that answer. So tonight, as you listen to my voice, I want you to remember this. Your greatness is not in what you can do. It's in what you can stay committed to. Discipline doesn't make life smaller. It makes it clearer. Focus doesn't limit your potential. It magnifies it. And the moment you decide that your attention, your time, and your energy belong to your purpose, not your distractions. That's the moment your life will begin to change. Because in the end, your future doesn't depend on how many things you start. It depends on how many things you finish. And finishing begins with focus. The power of one decision. There's a moment that separates the people who dream from the people who do. It's not luck. It's not talent. It's a single, powerful decision. One moment of absolute clarity where your heart says, this is it. This is the path. I will not turn back. I remember meeting a young man years ago who came up to me after a seminar. His eyes were tired, his voice uncertain. He said, Mr. Brown, I have so many dreams. I want to write, I want to start a business, I want to travel, I want to help people, but I don't know where to begin. I smiled and said, that's the problem. You've got too many open doors and you're standing in the hallway. You can't walk through all of them. You've got to pick one. He looked at me and said, but what if I choose the wrong one? I said, son, the wrong door walked through with conviction will teach you more than standing still in fear ever will. See, most people never move because they're waiting for certainty. They're waiting for the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect moment when everything lines up. But life doesn't work that way. Focus begins when you decide, when you stop waiting for clarity to come from the outside and create it from within. A lot of people say, Les, I want to change my life. But wanting isn't enough. You can want a better life for 20 years and never move an inch closer to it. Nothing changes until you decide. Not a casual decision, not a maybe or someday kind of decision, but a firm soul-level commitment that says, no matter how hard it gets, I'm staying the course. There's a difference between being interested and being committed. When you're interested, you do what's convenient. When you're committed, you do whatever it takes. And that's what the discipline of focus demands. It demands that you decide what deserves your life. And then you give yourself completely to it. You'll know you've made that kind of decision when it scares you. Because the right decision always will. It will pull you out of your comfort zone, make you confront your doubts, and test your consistency. But that's how you grow. That's how you become who you were meant to be. You see, the mind is powerful, but it's also easily distracted. It will always find reasons to delay, to doubt, to drift. But when you make a decision backed by discipline, your mind has no choice but to follow. Every great achievement in history began with someone saying, I've had enough. I'm not living like this anymore. I'm going after it. You don't have to see the whole path. You just have to take the first step with conviction. The second step reveals itself after that. And with each step, your focus sharpens, your confidence grows, and your purpose becomes clearer. I've learned that indecision is a thief. It steals your peace, your progress, your potential. It keeps you busy but unfulfilled, always planning, never producing. You can have the most brilliant ideas in the world, but if you never choose one and commit, those ideas die in your mind. But here's what's beautiful. The moment you make that one powerful decision, everything around you begins to change. Opportunities that were invisible suddenly appear. People start showing up to help you. Life begins to rearrange itself in your favor because you've finally given it direction. When I decided I was going to be a speaker, I didn't have money, education, or support, but I had a made-up mind. I had focus, and I told myself, I don't know how long it's going to take, but I'm not stopping until I get there. Every rejection, every doubt, every obstacle became part of my education. Because when your decision is real, failure just becomes feedback. You don't find your power by avoiding hard choices. You find it by making one and standing by it. That's how focus is born, not in comfort, but in commitment. So today, I want you to ask yourself, what's the one decision I've been avoiding? What's that one area where I've been half in, half out, waiting for the perfect sign instead of creating one? Because that's where your growth lies. That's where your freedom begins. Your destiny doesn't begin with doing 1,000 things right. It begins with doing one thing with all your heart. Focus is the art of choosing. Choosing your dream over your doubt, your purpose over your fear, your discipline over your distraction. And when you make that choice and keep making it every day, your life will never be the same. So don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait for permission. Decide today. Commit to that one thing that sets your soul on fire. Because once you do, once you make that one decision, you'll realize that focus isn't something you chase, it's something you become. The battle within every journey toward greatness begins with a battle, not against the world, not against circumstances, but against yourself. The hardest fight you will ever face is the one between your mind and your mission. That's the battle within. It's the voice that says, I can't, when your heart knows you must. It's the part of you that wants to stay comfortable when your destiny demands that you grow. I remember standing backstage once, minutes before a talk that could change my career. My hands were sweating, my heart was pounding, and doubt was loud in my mind. What if you forget your words? What if they don't like you? What if you fail? I could feel fear gripping me like a shadow. But in that moment, I realized something. Fear and faith both ask you to believe in something that hasn't happened yet. One believes in failure, the other believes in possibility. I chose faith, and that choice, that single moment of discipline over doubt, is what kept me moving forward. You see, focus is not just about what you look at, it's about what you fight for. Every day you wake up, you have to fight for your focus. You have to protect it from fear, from distraction, from negativity, from that inner voice that wants to keep you small. Because make no mistake, that voice will never disappear. It doesn't matter how successful you become, it's always there, whispering reasons why you can't. But you have to decide which voice to listen to. The discipline of focus means you silence the noise by acting anyway. You move forward even when your mind is screaming to retreat. You take the shot, make the call, write the page, show up. Even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Because the battle within isn't won by avoiding discomfort, it's won by enduring it. Most people lose this battle because they believe that confidence comes first. But it doesn't. Confidence is not the cause, it's the result. You don't become confident and then act. You act, and through action, you become confident. That's how focus is forged, not through endless planning or overthinking, but through movement, through showing up one more time when you want to quit. There's something powerful that happens when you push past the resistance of your own fear. You begin to realize that most of what held you back wasn't real. It was just the mind's attempt to protect you from discomfort. But growth and comfort never coexist. You cannot focus on your future if you're still clinging to your fear. You can't reach new heights while holding on to old habits. I've seen people with so much potential crumble because they lost the inner battle. They had the skill, the knowledge, the dream. But when doubt showed up, they surrendered. They waited for motivation instead of creating momentum. But here's the truth: motivation is temporary. Discipline is permanent. You won't always feel inspired, but you can always choose to be focused. Every great story of transformation begins with someone who refused to listen to their excuses. They made a decision, then defended it every day. That's what focus demands. that you defend your dream against distraction, your purpose against procrastination, your truth against temptation. And make no mistake, distractions will come, doubt will come, delay will come, but so will your chance to rise above them. When you're in that battle within, you'll feel tired. You'll question your worth. You'll want to quit. But that's exactly when the breakthrough is near. Because the moment you feel like giving up is often the moment you're closest to becoming who you were meant to be. I want you to remember something. Strength doesn't come from what you can do. It comes from overcoming the things you once thought you couldn't. The discipline of focus is the ability to stay locked in on your purpose, even when your emotions are screaming for escape. It's saying, I know I'm scared, but I'm doing it anyway. There will be days when you feel unseen, days when you question whether it's worth it, days when you wonder if your efforts even matter. But you keep going because deep down, you know the fight is not against failure. It's against giving up. That's the real battlefield. Not out there, but in here, in your mind, in your heart, in your discipline. The one who wins that battle doesn't just achieve success, they earn freedom. Freedom from fear. Freedom from doubt. Freedom from the noise that once held them back. So, my friend, if you're fighting right now, if you're battling the voices that say you're not enough, I want you to know this: the fact that you're still in the fight means you haven't lost. Keep your focus. Stay disciplined. Keep moving forward, even if it's 1 inch at a time. Because the day you win the battle, within is the day the world outside can no longer stop you. The weight of distraction, there's a silent thief in our lives. One that doesn't break through windows or kick down doors. It moves quietly, gently, almost invisibly, and before you know it, it has stolen your most valuable possession, your attention. That thief's name is distraction. We live in a world that celebrates noise. Everywhere you turn, something is fighting for your focus. Your phone buzzes, your notifications light up, opinions flood your mind, and suddenly your purpose, that thing that once felt crystal clear, becomes blurry. You start your day with intention, but by nightfall, you wonder where the hours went. You tell yourself you were busy, but deep down, you know you weren't productive. You were distracted. Distraction is dangerous because it doesn't always look harmful. It often wears the disguise of comfort. It whispers, take a break. When you haven't earned one, it says, scroll for a minute. And that minute turns into an hour. It convinces you that you can do it later. And later turns into never. I once read something that shook me to the core. If you lose money, you can make it back. But if you lose time, it's gone forever. And that's exactly what distraction steals. Not just your minutes, but your momentum, your discipline, your dreams. I remember working with a man who told me he couldn't seem to make progress on his goals. He said, Les, I'm motivated in the morning, but by the afternoon, I've lost it. So I asked him, walk me through your day. He began describing how he checked his phone before breakfast, answered a few messages, scrolled through social media, watched a few videos for inspiration, replied to a few emails, and before he knew it, half his day was gone. I told him, you don't have a focus problem, my friend. You have a distraction problem. Because distraction isn't just about doing unimportant things. It's about giving your time and energy to things that don't move your life forward. It's the tiny leaks that sink great ships. And here's the truth. The more you feed distraction, the hungrier it gets. The more you give in, the weaker your focus becomes. The discipline of focus requires that you become the guardian of your attention. You have to learn to protect it as fiercely as you protect your dreams. because your attention is your life. Wherever it goes, your energy flows. And if your energy is scattered, your results will be too. Every great achiever you admire learned to say no. They learned to filter their life through one question. Does this bring me closer to my purpose or further away from it? And if it pulled them away, they walked away because they understood something powerful. Every yes to distraction is a no to destiny. You see, focus is not just a skill, it's a responsibility. The world will always try to pull you in 1,000 directions, but only you can decide what deserves your energy. You must create boundaries, not to limit your life, but to protect it. There will be moments when you'll feel the temptation to drift, to lose yourself in the comfort of the easy and the familiar. But that's when you must remember why you started. Because nothing great was ever built by a distracted mind. The people who change the world aren't necessarily the most talented. They're the most focused. It's not that successful people have more time than you. They simply waste less of it. They choose discipline over distraction, clarity over chaos, and purpose over pleasure. They understand that focus feels lonely sometimes, but that loneliness builds strength. It teaches you how to hear your own thoughts, how to move at your own pace, how to grow in silence while the world chases noise. I've learned that distraction doesn't always come from outside. Sometimes it comes from within. Sometimes it's not your phone, your friends, or your surroundings. It's your thoughts. The doubts, the fears, the regrets, the endless replaying of the past. Those are internal distractions. And if you don't control them, they'll control you. When you discipline your focus, you begin to separate what's urgent from what's important. You stop chasing everything and start choosing something. You stop scattering your effort and start directing your energy. That's when life starts to shift, because clarity creates power. And when you eliminate distractions, you make room for greatness. You begin to hear the sound of your own calling again. You start to feel your purpose stirring within you, whispering, "Remember me. You once believed in me." That's what happens when you free yourself from the weight of distraction. Your vision becomes lighter, your path becomes clearer, and your heart becomes stronger. So I want to ask you, what's been stealing your attention? What are you giving your time to that's not giving anything back? Because every second you spend feeding distraction is a second you take away from your destiny. The discipline of focus isn't about doing more. It's about doing less, better. It's about mastering your attention, protecting your energy, and directing your life toward what truly matters. Because at the end of the day, greatness doesn't belong to the busy. It belongs to the focused. The price of commitment, every dream demands a price, and that price is commitment. Not the kind of commitment that fades when things get hard, but the kind that holds firm even when everything around you falls apart. The kind that whispers, "I will not give up." Even when your hands are trembling, your faith is weak, and the road feels endless. Because focus without commitment is like fire without oxygen. It burns for a moment, then fades into smoke. Most people love the idea of success until they meet the reality of sacrifice. Everyone wants to grow until they realize growth hurts. Everyone wants to win until they realize winners bleed for it. The truth is, success is not reserved for the most talented. It's reserved for the most committed. The ones who refuse to stop when it gets inconvenient. The ones who show up even when motivation disappears. I once met a woman who told me she'd been chasing her dream for years, but she kept losing momentum. I asked her, "How long do you stick with something before you change your mind?" She said, "Until it gets hard." I smiled and said, "That's not commitment, that's interest." and interest won't carry you through the storm. Commitment means doing what you said you would do long after the feeling you said it in has faded. It's waking up every day, even when you're tired, and saying, I choose my purpose again. Because commitment isn't a one-time decision. It's a daily discipline. It's not about intensity. It's about consistency. The road to focus will test you. There will be days when nothing seems to work. When you put in your best and get back silence. When progress feels invisible and patience feels impossible. Those are the days that separate the dreamers from the doers. Those are the days when commitment becomes your anchor. Because when you stop relying on inspiration and start relying on discipline, you become unstoppable. There's a reason why so many people start strong but finish weak. They underestimate the weight of commitment. They think success is built in the excitement of beginnings, but real success is built in the monotony of persistence. In those long, quiet hours when no one is watching, no one is cheering, and no one even knows what you're working for. That's where greatness is born. I've learned that commitment doesn't always feel good. Sometimes it feels lonely. Sometimes it feels heavy. Sometimes it feels like you're giving everything and getting nothing in return. But every step, every sacrifice, every silent effort is building something within you. A strength, a patience, a character that no one can take away. Because when you are committed, you don't just build results, you build resilience. Think about the people who changed the world. Inventors, artists, thinkers, leaders. They all faced rejection, failure, and ridicule. But what made them different wasn't luck. It was that quiet, unshakable commitment to keep going, to focus on the vision, even when the world saw nothing, to believe when it made no sense to believe. That's the discipline of focus, staying true to your purpose when the applause stops, when the excitement fades, when the only person left to believe is you. Because commitment is not glamorous, it's gritty. It's waking up every day and doing the small things that no one claps for, but that build the foundation for everything you'll one day celebrate. There was a time in my own journey when I felt like quitting. I had given everything, time, energy, effort, and still wasn't seeing results. I remember thinking, maybe this isn't for me. But something inside me said, you didn't come this far just to stop now. That voice, that inner conviction, that's what commitment sounds like. It doesn't shout. It doesn't demand attention. It simply reminds you of why you started. And that's what you must do. Remind yourself. Because life will test you, people will doubt you, and progress will sometimes vanish. But if you stay committed, if you stay focused, if you refuse to back down, everything you've been waiting for will begin to align. Because the universe responds to consistency. Commitment is the bridge between intention and accomplishment. Without it, focus has no foundation. With it, focus becomes your superpower. Every challenge you face becomes fuel. Every setback becomes instruction. Every delay becomes preparation. So, if you feel like giving up, hold on. If it feels heavy, carry it anyway. If no one believes in you, believe twice as hard. Because one day that commitment you're carrying will turn into the success you've been praying for. Your dream is waiting, but it's waiting for the version of you who refuses to quit. The one who pays the price, stays the course, and keeps their focus no matter how long it takes. That's the price of commitment. And if you're willing to pay it, there's nothing in this world that can stop you. The courage to continue, there will come a point in your journey where everything inside you will scream to stop. When you've given your best, yet life keeps asking for more. When your dreams feel distant, your strength feels small, and your heart is tired of waiting. That's the moment that defines you. Not when things are easy, not when the crowd is cheering, but when the silence feels heavier than your hope. Because the real measure of success is not how strong you start, but how long you're willing to stand. I remember once, years ago, being on the edge of giving up. Nothing seemed to be working. Every door I knocked on stayed closed. Every opportunity I chased slipped through my hands. I sat in my room one night and I said to myself, maybe I'm just not meant to do this. But then I remembered something my mother used to say. Baby, you weren't born to quit. You were born to rise. That one thought lit a small flame inside me again. I realized that life doesn't get easier for anyone. You just learn to get stronger. You see, courage is not the absence of fear. It's the decision to keep moving despite it. Every person who ever achieved something remarkable faced doubt, fear, and exhaustion. But they kept going. They kept showing up when they had every reason to walk away. That's what courage looks like. Not loud, not flashy, but steady. It's the quiet decision that says, I'm not done yet. The discipline of focus demands courage because the road to your purpose is not paved with applause. It's paved with resistance. There will be days when progress feels invisible, when you'll question if you're making any difference at all. And in those moments, your courage will be tested. But hear me when I tell you this. The moments that test you the most are the ones that shape you the deepest. I've learned that when everything in your life feels like it's falling apart, that's usually when something greater is being built. Growth often hides behind struggle. Strength often hides behind suffering. You cannot become the person you were meant to be without first walking through the fire of resistance. Because it's in that fire that you discover what you're truly made of. Sometimes we want the path to be straight and smooth. We want certainty. But life doesn't work like that. The road to success has curves, cliffs, and storms. And yet, those who make it to the other side aren't the ones who avoided the storms. They're the ones who learn to keep walking through them. You may be walking through one of those storms right now. Maybe it's financial struggle. Maybe it's heartbreak. Maybe it's self-doubt that just won't leave you alone. But I'm here to tell you, this is not where your story ends. This is the chapter that proves your strength. Because the same fire that hurts you will also forge you. The same pressure that breaks others will refine you. You just have to keep moving forward, even if it's one trembling step at a time. Courage is not about having everything figured out. It's about trusting that the next step will reveal itself once you take the first one. It's about believing that your effort is not wasted, that your pain has purpose, that your persistence has power. Every time you push past fear, you teach your spirit to rise. Every time you keep going, you remind life that you are unbreakable. I've seen people stop right before their breakthrough. One more try, one more day, one more conversation, and their entire story would have changed. But they gave up too soon, and I don't want that to be you. I want you to look at your reflection and say, I've come too far to turn back now. Because the road might be long, but the destination is worth it. There's something sacred about the person who refuses to quit. They may not be the fastest, they may not be the strongest, but they are the most faithful. And life rewards faithfulness. Every day you choose to continue. You plant seeds. You may not see the harvest yet, but it's growing beneath the surface. Keep watering it with effort. Keep feeding it with faith. And soon it will rise. Courage is not a gift, it's a choice. And it's a choice you must make over and over again. Even when it hurts, even when it feels unfair, even when the results are not immediate. Because one day you will look back and realize that Every moment you wanted to quit was actually the moment that made you unstoppable. So stand tall. Wipe your tears if you must, but don't you dare give up. You've survived too much to let this moment define you. The courage to continue is not about never falling. It's about never staying down. Keep moving forward. Keep believing. Keep fighting, because you're closer than you think. The pain of distraction, there's a quiet thief that steals more dreams than failure ever could, and its name is distraction. You see, most people don't lose because they're not capable. They lose because they get distracted. They lose because they trade their focus for comfort, their time for noise, and their purpose for temporary pleasure. And the tragedy is, they don't even notice it happening. Distraction doesn't shout, it whispers. It doesn't break in. It slowly walks through the open doors of your attention. I remember talking to a young man who told me, "Mr. Brown, I have so many dreams, but I can't seem to finish anything." And I said, "That's not because you're weak. It's because your attention is divided. A divided mind can't create a united life. You cannot chase 10 rabbits and catch even one." The pain of distraction is not always immediate. It shows up slowly. You start by saying, "I'll do it later." Then later turns into someday. And one day, you look back and realize that someday never came. We live in a world designed to steal our focus. Every beep, every scroll, every notification, it's a silent pull away from our purpose. It's like walking down a path and stopping every few seconds to pick up pebbles while the mountain you're meant to climb waits in the distance. Each distraction seems small in the moment, but together they rob you of the very thing that creates greatness: consistent, undivided attention. When I started chasing my dream, there were so many things pulling at me. People saying, "Les, come hang out. Let's relax for a bit." And I wanted to. I was tired. I was broke. I wanted the comfort of company. But deep down, I knew every time I said yes to something that didn't move me forward, I was saying no to my future. And that thought kept me awake. Because the pain of distraction might feel light today, but it grows heavy tomorrow. It becomes regret. It becomes, what if? The truth is, you can't conquer your destiny if you keep feeding your distractions. You can't walk into your calling if you keep stopping to entertain every noise around you. The discipline of focus requires sacrifice. It means saying no, not because you're arrogant, but because you're serious. Serious about your dream, serious about your growth, serious about your purpose. And yes, it will be lonely at times, but that loneliness is the space where greatness is born. I remember when I was working on my craft, speaking to empty rooms, practicing in the mirror, repeating my message over and over again. There were no cameras, no crowds, no applause, just me and my focus. And those quiet, focused hours were the foundation of everything that came after. Because when you learn to master your attention, you become unstoppable. Nothing outside of you can control you when you've learned to control what's inside of you. But distraction doesn't only come from the outside. Sometimes it's internal. The voice of self-doubt, the urge to compare, the temptation to rush. You look at others and think, they're ahead of me. And you start chasing what's not meant for you, leaving behind the work that is. That's the most dangerous kind of distraction, the one that makes you forget your own lane. Your journey is not a race, it's a revelation. Every moment you waste comparing is a moment you lose creating. So you must protect your focus like it's your life, because in many ways it is. Focus is the bridge between where you are and where you're meant to be. Every great thing that has ever been built, a book, a business, a legacy, was built through focus, not bursts of effort, but hours of consistent attention. You have to decide what's worthy of your eyes, your ears, and your energy. You can't let everything in. Not every call deserves to be answered. Not every argument needs a reply. Not every opportunity is meant for you. The pain of distraction is realizing you were busy, but not effective, active, but not progressing, surrounded by information, but starving for wisdom. That pain becomes heavier with time. You look back and see how much of your potential was lost, not because you couldn't do it, but because you didn't stay with it long enough. But here's the good news. It's never too late to reclaim your focus. Every day you wake up is another chance to recommit to what matters. So I want to challenge you, turn off the noise, step away from the unnecessary, choose depth over distraction, purpose over popularity, clarity over chaos. Because when you do, you'll discover something powerful. Silence is not empty. It's full of answers. In the quiet, you'll hear your vision speak again. You'll feel your energy return. You'll find your direction. The pain of distraction can end the moment you choose presence. The moment you decide that nothing outside of you deserves more power than what lives within you. And when you make that choice, that bold, intentional choice, you won't just live focused, you'll live free. The war within every dream worth fighting for comes with a battle, not outside, but inside. The greatest war you will ever face is not with circumstances, not with people, not with the world. It's with yourself. The battle between the part of you that wants to grow and the part that wants to stay comfortable. Between the voice that says, keep going, and the one that whispers, give up. Between your potential and your excuses. That's the war within, and every single day, you're either winning or losing it. I remember the nights I used to sit alone, questioning everything. My ability, my purpose, my worth. There were moments I felt like I was chasing something impossible. I'd say to myself, maybe this dream isn't for me. Maybe I'm just fooling myself. But deep down, another voice would answer, don't stop now. You've come too far to quit. And that small voice, that whisper of resilience, that's the voice you have to learn to listen to. Because that's your truth. That's your power. That's your future calling you forward. Most people think failure happens when life hits them hard. No. Failure begins the moment you stop fighting yourself for your own greatness. The moment you let your fears, doubts, and insecurities drive your decisions. The world outside you cannot defeat you until the world inside you surrenders. That's why the discipline of focus is not about what you're doing. It's about who you're becoming. It's about mastering your mind before you move your feet. Every morning when you wake up, there's a battle waiting for you. One side wants comfort. The snooze button, the distractions, the ease of not today. The other side wants progress, discipline, focus, consistency. And whichever one you feed is the one that wins. Some people lose the war within not because they're weak, but because they never learned to silence their inner chaos. They listen too much to the noise in their head instead of the purpose in their heart. I've learned something powerful through experience. Your mind will try to protect you from discomfort, but that's the same discomfort that grows you. Your mind will say, stop, this is too hard. But your spirit will whisper, keep going. This is where you rise. Every great person you admire, they didn't win because life was kind to them. They won because they refused to lose the war within. You have to talk to yourself like a champion. You have to build a mindset that doesn't break every time life gets heavy. Because life will get heavy. Oh, it will. There will be rejection. There will be doubt. There will be setbacks. But in those moments, you have to remind yourself, I am stronger than what's trying to stop me. You have to fight back, not with anger, but with belief. You have to become your own motivator, your own encourager, your own warrior. There were times when I had nothing, no money, no opportunities, no open doors. But I had belief, and that belief became my weapon. Every day I told myself, I will not let this season break me. And slowly things began to shift. Because when you win the battle in your mind, the world outside starts to follow. It's not the circumstances that change first. It's your conviction. Sometimes winning the war within means walking alone for a while. It means not explaining your vision to people who don't understand it. It means trusting your path even when no one else sees where it's going. It means showing up when your emotions say stay down. Because focus isn't about intensity, it's about consistency. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to keep showing up. And I'll tell you something. The moment you decide to fight for your own peace, your own focus, your own dream, everything inside you begins to align. That confusion, that fear, that hesitation, it starts to fade because you've chosen clarity. The war within is won by small victories. Every time you push through resistance, every time you silence doubt, every time you act in faith instead of fear, you are stronger than you think. You've survived every dark night, every heartbreak, every failure, and you're still standing. That means there's something unbreakable inside you. Don't waste that strength fighting the wrong battles. Fight for your focus. Fight for your growth. Fight for your future. Because if you can conquer yourself, nothing in this world can stop you. The war within is not your enemy. It's your awakening. It's life's way of showing you how powerful you really are. So when you feel that struggle, don't run from it. Embrace it. Stand tall in it. Look it in the eye and say, you will not defeat me. I am in charge of my destiny. And when you win that war, when you silence the fear, when you discipline your focus, when you lead your own mind, you'll realize something beautiful. You were never fighting to become someone new. You were fighting to remember who you've been all along. The discipline that defines destiny, my friend, if you've heard anything today, hear this. Your life will only move in the direction of your focus. You can have talent, potential, and dreams bigger than mountains, but if your focus is divided, your progress will always be delayed. Life will test you. It will challenge your patience, your courage, your consistency. It will whisper to you, maybe this isn't for you. But that's when you remind yourself, I was born for this. The distractions may come, the storms may rise, but your purpose must remain louder than your pain. Focus is not a one-time decision. It's a daily discipline. It's choosing to keep your eyes on what matters, even when everything around you is fighting for your attention. It's saying no to what drains you so you can say yes to what drives you. It's staying the course when others stop, believing in your vision when no one else does, and trusting that small steps still move mountains when taken with consistency. And I want you to know something. Your focus will be tested most when your breakthrough is near. That's when fear will speak louder, distractions will multiply, and doubt will creep in. But don't give in. Because the moment you push through that resistance, that's the moment your life begins to shift. You've come too far to stop now. You've fought too many battles, cried too many tears, and learned too many lessons to give up here. You may be tired, but you're not done. You may be uncertain, but you're not lost. The fire in you was placed there for a reason. Protect it, feed it, let it guide you. So today, make a choice, a real one. Choose focus over comfort. Choose growth over distraction. Choose purpose over noise. Because when you master your focus, you master your future. And one day, When you look back on your journey, you won't remember the things that tried to break your concentration. You'll remember the strength it took to stay true to your calling. You'll remember how you kept walking when your legs shook. You'll remember how you held on when your heart was heavy. And you'll smile knowing that you didn't just live another day. You built a destiny one focused step at a time. Because the discipline of focus doesn't just change your habits, it changes your life.